Welcome to Storytellers with a Message. This is where I share real stories about real people. I'm Lori Grant, and I'm committed to capturing the moments and lessons that shape our lives. Together, we'll explore stories that teach, inspire, and remind us that everyone has a story worth telling. Dave was a guy I worked with. He was mid-management and aggressive. He was that guy who always seemed to be walking around the office asking everyone what they were doing and telling them how they should be doing it differently. He had a very high opinion of himself and always had to have the last word. I often wondered what it was exactly that Dave did and why he seemed to have so much time to be running around giving advice and barking orders in places where he just didn't belong. Quite honestly, Dave was simply a pain in the neck. Well, my job at the time was to run a service desk for a large government contractor. One part of our work was managing a PC lab that serviced computers across the base. I handled the operations and admin side, speaking with requesters, logging and tracking calls, and billing for the work our technicians did. What really made the lab run smoothly, though, was the call queue. The techs didn't work for me, but I directed their workload. Managing the queue and prioritizing calls kept everything organized, and it kept a lot of pressure off the techs. You know what it's like when you have computer problems. It always feels like an emergency, and these guys were really good at what they did. So good, in fact, that they were constantly stopped in the hallways by people asking if they could just take a quick peek at a computer that was acting up. We had to put a hard stop to that, and my job was key. They were not allowed to work outside of their assignment, and this rule was strictly enforced. Not by me, of course. When asked to do something outside of their current call, they would simply say, "Give Lori a call and she'll put you in the queue." It worked beautifully. In fact, it worked so well that the company decided to do the same thing internally and asked me to run a service desk for all internal service requests as well. We created a help desk for our 500 plus employees. All requests related to maintenance, phone issues, shipping and receiving, and IT ran through the help desk. The calls came in, I logged them, tracked them, put them in the queue, and dispatched the jobs. I worked directly with the departments and was able to give requesters updates as needed. It worked great. Our employees were super happy to have somewhere to go for their issues, and our operations team loved having someone else track their requests. Well, one afternoon, Dave came marching into the lab. He was coming in hot, as Dave usually did. Picture a mad cowboy, 6'2", long sleeve shirt, Wrangler jeans, and cowboy boots. The only thing missing was the hat. He came up to my desk and leaned in, a little too close, and told me he needed a password reset immediately. He had apparently called our internal tech, Debbie, directly, and her response was exactly as it should have been. She told him, "Give Lori a call and she'll put you in the queue." Mr. Dave was not happy. He could have called me, but instead he made the trip to the lab to personally give me a piece of his mind. He felt he shouldn't be put in the queue and that Debbie should have stopped what she was doing and fixed his computer. He was simply nasty to me, and his venting went on for quite a while. I knew he was frustrated. I got those kind of calls all day long, but this one was over the top. He was trying to bully and intimidate me. I logged Dave's call just like every other call. I told him how many calls were ahead of him and that I would keep him updated. He wasn't happy, but he knew he had to follow the rules just like everyone else. When he realized bullying me wasn't going to work, he calmed down. I then told him I'd see what I could do to get it done a little faster. One thing Dave did have was a sense of humor. So as he walked out of my office, I called after him, "Hey, if I can get this squared away for you before the end of the day, you owe me flowers for being so mean to me." He didn't exactly grin, but he did acknowledge that he'd heard my snarky comment. What Dave didn't know was that I was aware of 3 very important things. 1, I knew Debbie wasn't fond of him. And I also knew she was just about as hard to work with as he was. Debbie did not sugarcoat things with anyone. She really wasn't much of a people person, but she was a great computer tech. So it didn't surprise me that she had told him no in a way that was likely to get him riled up. It probably felt great for her, but it also sent Dave spinning, which is why he ended up in my office. 2, I knew exactly what Debbie had on her plate for the day and all of the calls in her queue. Debbie loved the dispatch process. The less personal contact with people, the better. Once we had a system in place, she loved having a queue. And 3, I had personally built a fantastic working relationship with Debbie and had become a buffer for her in many circumstances. So as soon as Dave left, I called Debbie. I told her Dave had come to see me with his boots on fire. She wasn't a bit surprised because, after all, that was Dave. I asked her if she'd do me a favor and go ahead and reset his password as soon as possible and give me a call when she was done so I could let Dave know personally. She was super cool about it and said that if that's what I wanted to do, even after how he had treated me, she'd get it done in the next half hour. And she did. Debbie called me in less than 15 minutes letting me know she had reset Dave's password. So I called Dave. I let him know he was good to go and his password had been reset. Well, what is it? He asked. I smiled to myself and replied, your password is flowers, Dave. I asked Debbie to set your password to flowers, all lowercase. So here's my message. I've learned that those who are too aggressive often regret saying too much, and those who are too timid often regret not saying enough. There's a delicate balance there. I personally don't like confrontation. It's fair to say that I'm sometimes bullied in my attempts to avoid it. These situations make me so uncomfortable that I usually bite my tongue, hoping not to make a situation worse. It works for me most of the time. But sometimes, even those of us who stress out at the thought of even a minor clash have to engage. The good news is that I've learned that sometimes, if managed properly, confrontation can be the beginning of a greater trust and understanding. If you're wondering if I ever got flowers or even an apology from Dave, the answer is no. But I never expected to. However, I did earn some respect and he never spoke to me like that again. Funny enough, I did get flowers from Debbie's rose garden many, many times. This has been Storytellers with a Message. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the subscribe button and leave a review on your favorite podcast app. It truly helps others find the podcast. And if you have a story to tell, I love to hear from you. You can email me at storytellerswithamessage@gmail.com. To explore my children's books or learn more about my work, visit www.loriDgrant.com. Until next time, I'm Lori, wishing you joy and peace.